Absolutely beautiful. Let's connect here. Let's draw in all of your archangels, your guides, your guardians, your ascended masters, spirit, and let's have divine life force energy flowing through you and around you. And just immediately expand your energy way out to the edges of the multiverses so that you've actually got universes inside your beautiful aura, inside your force field. Let's command that intelligence that is actually holding the universe as it is. And let's understand that we need to give ourselves space. Space provides us with the opportunity for a peacefulness, a harmony, and a bliss that is exactly in the gap where we need to manifest and create from. I want you to actually have this recognition that space and spaciousness in our lives is so necessary. It's actually one of the natural laws. If there wasn't space required, all of the stars would be clumped together, but they're not. And we know that in the vast emptiness between the stars, there isn't emptiness at all. There is this absolutely exquisite energy, this matrix, and we're in the vortex. So I want you to actually just really remind yourself now, here and now, you're connected to it, you've activated and ignited it, and you are commanding this energy with your actual feelings and emotions, your vibrations. So I want you to get yourself into a state of pure peace, a divine and glorious, harmonious state where all is well. And I want you to say, what would it take? What would it take for me to have the ability to draw in now and receive anything and everything that is desirable and necessary to actually create the perfect person for me? What would it take for this person and our relationship to be fulfilling, satisfying, and rewarding? What would it take for this person to truly honor and cherish me and our relationship? What would it take for this absolutely divine being to really respect me? What would it take for them to be uplifting? What would it take for them to be able to contribute to me in such a way that I am finally allowed to be who I truly am and be loved, genuinely loved for it? What would it take for this person to truly appreciate my quirkiness and idiosyncrasies and to help me to intensify and magnify my power? And what would it take for them to rejoice in that and give me positions so that I can actually truly allow myself the permission to be immensely powerful. What would it take for me to actually draw in, receive, and appreciate someone who is honest and reliable? Someone who is free and confident and is doing all of their own work on the spiritual journey so that we can actually meet and play in this beautiful, ever evolving way. What would it take for this person to be absolutely wonderful and humorous? What would it take for me to be light-hearted and truly free to laugh? What would it take? Energies, entities, essences, you're here with us now. We're asking you to reorganize and rearrange and reorchestrate all that is desirable and necessary to bring this about. What would it take for the perfect person for me to want to, genuinely, sincerely want to, for all of their own reasons, walk the path of life with me, run the path of life with me, skip on the path of life with me? What would it take for me right now to really experience the emotion, the feelings, the knowing that I am loved and lovable? What would it take for us to be able to deal with whatever comes our way in a very graceful, enlightened manner? What would it take for us to actually really help each other, support each other, encourage each other? What would it take for us to be loyal to each other and our relationship? What would it take for us to have the clarity, the conviction, the confidence, and the calmness to communicate in a way so that we both really understand what our expectations are, what our wants and needs and desires are? What would it take for us to be able to really express ourselves in ways we've never been able to before? Add what you want in here now. What would it take? What would it take for this absolutely spectacular human being? What would it take for them to be? Passionate and purposeful. Connected with their mission and their purpose for this life. For them to truly understand what the feminine means and how it can be interpreted, how it can be nourished and nurtured, and how they can be truly respectful of it within me and within themselves. And for us to allow ourselves to be really grounded in our power, and for them to really embrace their masculinity, to understand it and to truly respect it. What would it take for us to feel absolute delight at the surprise of every day unfolding in an even more miraculous way, so that it is truly a magnificent experience to be in a relationship? And what would it take for this perfect person to be absolutely in alignment with the vibration and the frequency of abundance and prosperity, of generosity and reciprocity? Oh, yeah. And what would it take for them to truly know that they are loved and that they're lovable? And what would it take for us to be able to very easily express to each other the ways that we need to receive our perception of love, so that we actually feel truly lovable and loved? What would it take for us to see some of the wonders of the world together? What would it take for us to actually be one of the wonders of the world together? What would it take for us to actually grow in a very healthy way as we progress along the journey, really savoring every single step? What would it take for us to know that all of the challenges and obstacles that show up are actually for us? What would it take for us to really understand the opportunities for learning our lessons? What would it take for us to gratefully receive all the resources that we need before we actually need them? And what would it take for us to just think, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me the gift of this gorgeous relationship that I absolutely adore? What would it take for us to know that we, in loving each other, are actually healing the world? What would it take for us to know that the ripple effect of the explosion of energy that's created in us together is literally healing the world? What would it take for us to ignite ourselves in such a way that we experience exquisite ecstasy unlike anything we ever imagined was possible when there was real, true love? What would it take for us to actually go slow where it's necessary and speed things up where it's necessary and know the difference? What would it take for us to actually seek the assistance that we need and the healings that we need at the times when we will need them? What would it take for us to explore together, be curious and inquisitive together? And what would it take for us to relax into the knowing that we command divine timing and we would like it for all of our guides and guardians and ascended masters and spirit and angels and archangels and entities, essences and energies. Please be with us now. Help us create it now. Allow us to be persuasive. Allow us to actually create this magic. And anything or anyone in the way of it, please delete it, uncreate it, and destroy it across all time, space, dimensions, and realities. And anything or anyone that can facilitate it with ease and grace and speed and joy, please add it, create it, and store it across all times, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Amen, and so it is.